What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? So we have reached the end of Legendary. It was the season finale. They went on to drop both episodes tonight. Well, today. I wonder why they did that. I wonder why they didn't stretch it out another week. But it doesn't matter. I'm glad we did it. It was a great show. Like I said in my last review, I found out today that it has been renewed for season 2. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Forget it. So we start this episode off. We have a performance by Leomi and Deshawn. I believe Deshawn, the MC, who are both legends in the ballroom. And baby, it was a performance. Okay, I was here for all of it. As a matter of fact, I watched it twice. And I'm probably gonna watch it a couple of more times. I mean, they look so good. They were in sync. They were giving me everything that I wanted and needed, and looking good while they was doing it. It was a great entry. So we're down to 3 houses, and the way they did it was each house came out and did a house performance. Then there was an elimination, and then the 2 top houses battled it out. So they did this. I mean, the way they stretched it out was they had each house, and of course each house had this Last Supper setting where they all went through and talked about their journey and what they're proud of and everything they went through. Yeah, I'm not doing all of that. So let's just start. We have the House of Lavin. The theme was Heaven and Hell Ball. So we had the House of Lavin. They came out, they did their performance, and they started off as devils and evolved into angels, I believe is what it was, their storyline. And it was a good performance. I loved what I saw with Mother Erica. Her costume was everything. I thought it was a good performance. I was like, okay, all right, we got it. It didn't make me stand up and holler, but it didn't make me go, oh, Jesus, either. It was okay. Balmain came out. And again, they had their Last Supper, and they went through their whole thing. And the father of the House of Balmain said that his most memorable moment was when he was able to save them, which, remember, that was the first episode. And he put his heart out there on the floor, and look at where they came to. Look at where they are. They're in the finals. And so I definitely felt him on that. Their performance, they came out, they had the whole choir singing. They came out in white, very angelic, very church-like. And then they went to the devil, honey. And as Law described it as, they took me to church, and then it became the Nightmare on Gay Street, honey. It was funny, but it was good. It was definitely a good performance. I enjoyed it. And their performance did make me stand up and holler. They had this one part, baby, where they all held each other's leg. You know, the person on the end kicked their leg up, and then the other person kicked their leg up. And it was almost like a rocket thing where they were all holding each other's leg up, and they did one giant dip. I know some people call them death drops. I've been told that the proper term is a dip. Either way, whatever you want to call it, bitch. That move was everything for me. I said, and y'all pulled it out at the right time. That was the right time to pull that move out, okay? But I definitely thought that their performance was, like I said, boom. I was here for all of that. Escada came out, and Escada was sort of like, the father London said that, he felt like they were always discounted. They were always the afterthought, they were always the underdog. And so for them to be in the final, he felt like, listen, we're here. Their performance was nice. Law said that he felt like their performance was good, but he said it was very soft, but he wondered if it was too soft. And again, I gotta say, I agree with Law. I felt the same way. I was like, I felt like they played it very, very safe. I feel like they played it very, very safe. Now, while the judges were deliberating, the one thing I heard Leomi say, and I 100% agreed with her. Because if I had to do a top performance out of those 3, it was Balmain. Balmain, for me, their performance was the best out of the 3. And Leomi said, I'm concerned about the House of Lavin because I feel like they don't push themselves. They know they're good. They know that they had, at least at one point, were heads and shoulders, I should say, above the rest of the houses, and they didn't push themselves to keep going. And I thought of the tortoise and the hare. I thought of the story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare had this huge lead. Thought they had time to take a nap a little bit. Do a little sightseeing, you know. And next thing you know, the tortoise was on their heels. And that tortoise is the house of Balmain. And in that moment, I said to myself, Balmain gonna win this. In my mind, that's what I said to myself in my mind. Because it was just what she said was on point. It was just so on point. Balmain was hungry. Balmain kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And yes, Lanvin was good. And they stayed consistently good. But I don't know if they put a whole lot of effort into being great. And I could be wrong, but that's how I'm taking it. So they had that first elimination, and they eliminated the House of Escada. To be expected. Then Megan Thee Stallion gave us a performance. She performed Savage. Now, I'm sure when she when they recorded this, Savage wasn't even released yet, because they said her upcoming EP. So certainly there was no anticipation that Savage would turn into what it has become, you know, this whole blockbuster, and then the TikTok viral, and then her doing the remix with Beyonce. But either way, it was she gave us Savage. She had a whole break where, of course, she brought a whole dance, ballroom element where they had a whole voguing thing, and she sort of did a little something. Let me say this about Megan. I like Megan. So y'all, before you don't, I like Megan Thee Stallion. I really do. But Megan is when she ain't twerking, she's stiff. You know what I'm saying? And so she was going through the motions with the ball, with the dance moves, but she. Y'all listen. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. And again, I like you, Megan. I like it. But I noticed that when she performed at not the BET Awards this year, last year when she performed on the stage before the show, she wasn't even on the show last year. She performed like right at the very beginning or at the end of the pre-show, something like that. And I said the same thing. I said, okay, she's giving it, but it's almost like she was a little nervous, and she still sort of has that. So she was doing the ballroom, but it didn't make it to her. I don't know what to say, y'all. Anyway, I should have just not said nothing. Anyway, she gave us a little Savage, but I done said it now. So, but y'all know what I'm saying. Some of y'all gonna put in the comments, I know what you mean. Okay, but I like Megan. I like Savage. I do. I like the song, and I like Megan. Anyway, so then the final performance came down to. I wrote it down. I took notes. It came down to a house Vogue, and it was called. Oh, I wrote down. Didn't I write down the title? Oh Lord, the last category was called something dealing with hell. Shit, I don't know. What was it? Oh shoot, the first one was Heaven and Hell. Damn it! It was something dealing with hell. I could have sworn I wrote it down, y'all. I'm sorry. But it was a house Vogue. It was a house Vogue. And so what they did was they had all 5 elements of Vogue, and they battled each other. As far as one person from each house came up, did one element of Vogue, and they battled each other. So the first one was hands. And we had Carlos versus Jamari. Now remember, Carlos is the one that won the hands category when they had the money ball. Carlos did his thing. Boom. Next was catwalk. We had Callie versus. Why I can't read my own handwriting? Envy. I can't read my own handwriting, but it was Callie versus the other person. I feel like Callie won that one. Then we had Duck Walk, Tommy versus Michaela. I feel like Michaela won that one. Floor, we had Pack Rat versus Gravity. That one was a tight one, but I do feel like that was a good one, y'all. I don't think I had a clear winner on that one. I don't think. Dips and spins, we had Zay Zay versus Calypso. I think I gave it to Calypso. I think. And so then the judges went to deliberate. And what the judges were basically doing was kind of figuring out who, because at that point, you know what I agreed with? At that point, it was a clear slate. Like, Lanvin, your 4 wins don't mean nothing. All of that, you had to. That didn't mean nothing. You and Balmain were equally yoked at that point. And what it sounded like the judges were doing was figuring out points. Who they gave a point to each element, and they looked at the points. They looked at who you gave the most points to. Because I heard, Law saying I have 3 and 2. I heard somebody else saying I have 3 and 2. So that's what it sounded like they did. And then they went to make the announcement of the winner, and I knew. In my mind, I was like, because honestly, if I just had to go by tonight's performance, that episode 9 performance, it was Balmain for me. And y'all know that I've been standing for Lanvin from day one. From the first episode, I have been standing for Lanvin and Mother Erica. Y'all know I have. I still am. But I'm sorry. I agree with Naomi where I feel like they got comfortable. They knew they were good. And they ain't pushed themselves. And they let Balmain catch up to them. And I do think part of too was their secret weapon got hurt. Michaela was hurt. Now she still did her thing, but Michaela wasn't doing them flips and dips like she was. And that was part of it too. That really was their secret weapon. Now, I'm not saying they were no good without Michaela, because they were. They definitely were good without Michaela. I mean, the other part members were good, but yeah. Anyway, so the winner was Balmain, if you hadn't figured that part out. But I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I loved it. Again, anybody who has been watching Legendary and you are now interested in more ballroom, there are plenty of YouTube channels where you can go and look at like authentic ballroom battles. You can go look at authentic houses. You can look, and when you go into YouTube, you can search by house. You can search by just put in ballroom. Of course, they might just bring up, like classic ballroom, but y'all know how to maneuver the internet, child, to get what y'all want. There is a channel that I believe it's a channel called I think it's called Classic Ballroom, and on YouTube, on Instagram, there's a Instagram channel that I believe is called Classic Ballroom as well, and they always have clips of different things. I also implore you guys to go, if you have any of these streaming services. I couldn't tell you which one. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. But whichever streaming channel carries Vice, the Vice channel, go find My House. It was a docuseries on ballroom, like present day ballroom. I believe they probably filmed it in 2018, 2019. And I only had 1 season. I was really hoping for a season 2. But you followed probably 5 ballroom artists, and 2 out of the 5 were icon status, maybe legendary, but I definitely know they were icon status. And the 3rd one was Just Precious, who she does what Deshawn does. She does a lot of MCing. She's been in ballroom, but she does a lot of MCing and things like that. So you get a lot of information on authentic ballroom. So again, if this show has sparked your fever for ballroom, I implore you guys to continue to go and look and find those other things. And like Megan said, she was like, I ain't know a whole lot about ballroom when this started, but I have definitely done my research. I would look to see, and Megan Thee Stallion, and if it's already existed, I'm sorry, but in her next videos, I would look to see definitely the influence of ballroom, because she's definitely into it. With that being said, I'm out. I'll see y'all next season. Peace.